Hi everyone. I hope all of you can hear me. So welcome to the session that we had promised all of you on, creating a virtual bot using AI.
Anjana chat.
Sorry. So I will open up the chat, by the way. I keep that special power with me all the time. And people who have been associated with us are familiar of it. I'm just opening up the chat for everyone. We'll wait for another 1 or 2 minutes. Before that, I would hand it over to Smita, who will be Smita. So we have two Smitas here today. Smita from OpenWeaver, who will be introducing the speaker and the details of what are we going to do today, and what is in store for all of you. So over to you, Smita.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And a special thanks to FSP, as always, Smita and Anjana, for putting this together and for involving and inviting OpenWeaver to be part of this session. My name is Smita Ramkumar, and I am currently working with OpenWeaver as the Director for Community and Partnerships. And for today's session, I would just like to give you a little bit of a overview of what is OpenWeaver. So OpenWeaver, we are a SaaS technology company, and we are supporting over 1 million developers worldwide to build their ideas faster by reusing open source software. So our vision at OpenWeaver is to reinvent digital realization. Very simply put, we'd like to improve the way applications are built. And this OpenWeaver is doing by investing in a unique combination of both public domain knowledge and artificial intelligence. Thereby, we believe we can deliver smarter ways to build the digital world of tomorrow. So this bootcamp that we will be conducting today on building an AI virtual agent is part of our OpenWeaver community initiatives, which is basically the community is a body of like-minded technology enthusiasts as well as open source contributors who are coming together with the vision of contributing to the world of open source, but also sharing how complex use cases can be developed by reusing open source. So we've done a couple of different bootcamps and hackathons with FSP in the past on a couple of different topics. And today we thought this will be a great session to engage all of you on. A very quick 45-minute session, which is very practical and hands-on, because through the session, you can parallelly with our mentor build this AI chatbot and have a working model at the end of the session. So today's bootcamp, we will cover a little bit about the basics of NLP and then focus specifically on this use case of building your own virtual agent. And I think through the bootcamp, you will realize how technology does not really have to be complex, right? And it definitely does not have to be developed in silos. You can see how you can, in fact, take a pre-built solution, something that's pre-built by many people in the world, and then you can build on top of it and you can share it back such that now others can also have access to your idea and solution, and then they can further build on top of it. And this will accelerate this virtuous cycle of innovation and help us all build these applications and bring it to life much faster. That is what we hope to do with this session today, where we will give you a starter kit and you can use that as a pre-built starter kit, which has all the dependencies and everything that you need today to further build on top of it and share it back, and we can collectively grow and develop these projects. So that is our agenda for today. And while we get started, I will now request my colleague to drop in the link where you can access today's bootcamp course. So that is the course page. It's on the chat for all of you. And if you click on it, our mentor for today will just do that in a bit. If you click on it, it will take you to the course page, which will have 3 key things. It has a 10-minute tutorial, which you can use as a refresher when you want to revisit the course later on, but it's a 10-minute version of this 45-minute bootcamp of sorts. The second part of it is the most important piece, which is this hands-on starter kit that we have developed for you and curated, which will help you build something in about 20 to 30 minutes. And then the final piece of it is an assessment, which will give you a certificate. So with that, I will now invite our mentor for today's session, Pooja Agarwal, who is a senior developer advocate with OpenWeaver and someone who leads all of our bootcamps and training sessions. So over to you, Pooja.
Thank you. Just 1 second, Smita, Pooja, before you begin. So, so for the cohort folks who have joined us, as Smita said, this is a community, right? So the interaction doesn't end today. It is about getting started on a journey to become something, right? I mean, I'm sure Pooja is going to talk about it, but I thought I will tell you what we've always been telling, right? Our idea of this cohort itself was to create a learning habit. So you don't stop today, you don't stop at this particular certification or one that acquiring data that we did, but you keep learning new things. So this is to give you some easy wins.
Absolutely.
So,
It's
yeah.
lovely you added that, Smita, because in fact, what we are looking at doing for a group of people is next Wednesday, we have this hands-on collab for 45 minutes, a closed group collaborative laboratory of sorts, where you can join, and it won't be a webinar or a boot camp of sorts, but it's going to be a Teams meeting with 20-25 people who want to build and who want to use these resources and really develop a project or an application. And we'll have 2-3 mentors guide you through it. So this is one step towards getting to something of that sort, as you said, Smita, building something. And so let's get started. Pooja, maybe you can walk us through a little bit of the basics and then focus more on our starter kit for today.
Sure, Smita. Thank you so much, everyone. And hello, I'm glad that you guys have joined here to learn something which you can actually not build primarily from the scratch, but also you would be able to, learn through this that how you can utilize this same into many other processes. Okay, so today with this candy kit that you would use to build up your application with AI will help you, okay, develop a bot, a chatbot of sorts in artificial intelligence. We'll also tell you how you can customize it, simplify it, a lot of things I'm going to help you go through while I'll discuss the kit and other things. However, one prime thing that I want you to concentrate as you are going through this session, try to please put in as much queries as you can in the chat, even if there is some issue with the setup, if there is some issue with something or the other. Don't just shy away, because this is more of a closed cohort sort of a session where you're free to discuss, ask things, so that we understand how well you are able to get through this technology and utilize the kit that we present to you. So let's go ahead and discuss the agenda for today. First, we'll talk a bit on artificial intelligence, which is changing the world of today, and it has already done it for a while. I'll give a little history on that as well. Then we'll talk about natural language processing, which has revolutionized how these machines interact with us today and how they make it more and more interesting for us to not only comfortable, but yes, ease the different daily tasks from, say, making it easier for the different managers to hire people, employees. They do help you with the different customer feedbacks for the customer related queries and so much more, right? So we'll build an application around that. We will use everything open source to build up this virtual agent or chatbot of sort. So the interesting part is you don't need to buy anything. Nothing is licensed. Everything is all free of cost, which is the power of open source. So we'll utilize that power. And we do vouch for it, that you also learn to develop everything that works around these tools and technologies of open source. And then there is a kit. So in case you think that, starting from scratch obviously takes time, we've curated everything into a single kit. We will help you get through the entire code section, understand what's going on in the kit, and then also suggest how you can build your own solution based on this kit, which we are already providing. So before we go ahead and, get with the concepts, I would also want you to set up the kit in the meanwhile. That way you will be able to interact with me, alongside while I discuss the concepts. So let's first set up the kit. To get to the kit, I'll just share my entire screen for that. Please go into the chat section, and in the chat, you will see that my colleague has shared a
Course page. Yeah.
Yes. Click on that course page. Very interesting. Yeah. And this course page will open for you. On this course page, you will see, as Smita already mentioned, that we are following a 3-step process. This is the 10-minute refresher that you can watch later. Supposingly you feel that this is the use case you want to use to develop further or build again on top of what we have already provided, go ahead, check out this 10-minute refresher video. For now, we will go and click on this Candy one-click kit button. So go ahead, click here. This will take you to the page wherein the one-click installer is available. So this one-click installer basically has the required dependencies and resources. So you don't have to keep installing every individual, say, you don't have a Jupyter notebook, you don't have to install it. You don't have Python, you don't have to install it. Like, you don't have to separately get into the fuss of installing all the software, and then you'll be able to work around the things. Everything we'll check and we'll try to set it up onto your local systems. So go ahead, click this one-click installer. Save it onto a suitable place onto your local systems. Say, I'll just name it virtual agent and let this kit sit there. It's a zip file. So go ahead and first say extract all or unzip, whichever software you're using to unzip. You'll see that you'll find a batch file here. So this batch file, if you like, do scan it with an antivirus. If you are comfortable, you can go ahead, double click it. It will give you a notification, since we are running a text file which has all the dependencies and everything listed in the most simplest of manner to simplify the download setup onto your systems. Say more info, run anyway. And this has started your setup for this kit onto your systems. So it will check for all the required dependencies. So all of these are obviously set up onto my system. So it's saying the all requirement is already satisfied, etc., etc. Let this process happen onto your systems. In the meanwhile, we'll get back to our discussion on the deck. Okay. So now let's talk a bit on the history of artificial intelligence, where it all started and how, things have flourished through the different years. So this guy is very famous. His name is John McCarthy. He is known as the father of artificial intelligence. And interestingly, Logic Tourist is the name of the first program that was discussed during this summer research project, where all of these scientist friends met each other. And they basically tried to, launch, a engine of sorts. What was this Logic Tourist? It was an engine which was basically trying to perform a task, automate a task primarily. Somewhere they were trying to do an automation wherein, based on a certain logic that is written, a certain task is performed. And if you want to repetitively perform it, something similar of that sort, but in the most basic of manner. So that happened in the late 1950s, let's say mid 1950s. But after that, after all this happened, and they thought they've actually got a program that can do a little bit of rule engine, or they can follow some rules and accordingly do some automation. We didn't see much change that happened in the 1960s to 70s. We had to see a winter for artificial intelligence. So if you think that artificial intelligence only came in the 2000s, so then you have to just get a little back and figure this out, that it is not something very recent. People have been working on it for a while, more than a decade or more than 2 decades itself. So then in the 1980s, basically we saw that there was a great boom in the learning techniques. We want the machine to behave like humans. So these scientists, these people, these researchers who are interested, they started writing the development techniques which we can use to make the machine learn and somehow mimic, human mind, human brain, behave like us, or say make decisions on their own. So some techniques were written, say supervised techniques. Let's say the supervised techniques which we will discuss further were discussed. Some techniques on artificial intelligence or some sort of these softwares were thought through but were written theoretically. Again, some winter we had to see. Not much change happened, right? And then the second AI winter came up, and again the 1980s to 1990s, nothing much moved.
Pooja, sorry to intervene. I have somebody asking, is this iOS compatible, your kit?
So yes, for other operating systems, you have to follow the instructions. And yes, we have listed out the instructions as well. I'll just showcase it. So you can also set this kit on the other operating systems. For that, we'll guide you to get to the solution source by getting here. Let me share the link for that as well. So you would see that on the releases, you will find the zip file. So from here, you have to directly set up. So there are a couple of instructions to follow. You just have to set Python. Then you have to set this zip file. So yes, it is iOS compatible, as well as I've shared the direct link also for the zip file for the installation, whoever is setting it up on other operating systems.
I think
Okay.
we have a few people already setting it up, Pooja. So maybe we can, yeah, once you're done with the concepts, we can get into the kit so that people can follow the kit along with you.
Understood, understood. So yeah, and the people who are setting it up on iOS, the one thing is I've shared the link to the zip file separately with you, but also you have to download the Python before you start setting this kit up. So don't worry about it. Just give us a couple of minutes to finish on the different concepts. We'll take up your questions individually. Okay. So then we saw that after this AI winter that happened in 1980 to 1990s, again, there was a renewed success in various fields in artificial intelligence. We could actually see a good amount of changes, little bit of things moving around. Only in the 2010 to present, we see that the cutting edge solutions which we are already using. So from your basic IoT sensors, wherein you use artificial intelligence to switch off the automatically cut down the motor connection, right? To tools like your instant coffee makers, to your different voice assistants, your Google Assistant, Siri, Alexa, Cortana, all these that you use to simplify, to get your text onto the chat. You no longer need to type it. You can simply use the speak now feature, etc. All this is already present and we are using them. So how did it came? How all of this happened?
Pooja,
Mhm.
sorry,
No worries.
we have some people, there are some questions which are, I think, related to download only. Can I use Linux, Ubuntu, OS, and someone is also asking, can you re-illustrate those phenomena of download?
Sure. So, okay, let's first quickly try to take up these questions. Yes, you can use Linux Ubuntu OS as well, Shrikant. And okay, Shubham. So I think you're asking me to reiterate how to get to the setup process. So I'll just tell you once again, you just have to, okay, let me just.
Also for people like us who can't download because of admin being, there, and at least that zip file, is there some other shortcut that we can use?
So maybe Pooja, you can showcase all the 2-3 different methods are there, right? One is a one-click
Yes.
install. If the one-click install is for
Yes.
what operating system, what's the
Yes.
other way to install?
Yes.
And
yes.
maybe in the interest of time, you can go into the kit itself
Right.
after this.
Okay, sure, I'll do that. So, so step one is I'll just reiterate what I already discussed. Step one was you have to get into the link that is provided in the chat, which is this link. Maybe Sandhya, you can paste it again in case someone has missed. You get to this page. On this page, you see the button to get to the actual CandyKit page, which has the one-click installer. So those who are installing alongside with me, just click on this button. This has a zip file. So you should be unzipping it before you set it up onto your systems. So just give it any name. I'll just name it as VA. Say show in folder. Extract this folder. Okay. After you have extracted, you should be able to see a batch file like this. Okay. And then double click the batch file. Rest of the process for Windows, it will do. For other operating systems, I'll just speak on that as well. So please double click this batch file and let the setup happen for those who have not yet started. For this, you have to say more info and run anyway. Since my setup is already running here, I won't go ahead and do it again. For other operating systems, what you have to do. So for other operating systems, what you have to do. So there are two ways. Either you can download this entire setup, or you can simplify things by setting first Python. So let's just go to python.org and get you the Python download. Just go to the downloads, check the latest Python version that is available. I'll share this link as well, so you can download from here. Please download this version of Python, then download that zip file, that the link for which I shared. So that zip file link is also available on the page itself. See, as you go on to the lot of multiple pages opened here. Yeah. So as you see this entire kit page, other than just giving you the same instructions that I spoke, extract, zip, run, it is also saying that you locate this folder, etc. You go down, you see that will tell that what development environment is used, what libraries are used, all of this information. And then there is this Git solution source. So the solution source is already posted on GitHub. So click here. If you already have Jupyter Notebook already set up, so you can go ahead and say virtual agent for FAQAS.pynb. The simplest of the ways, copy it, save it, but then that is a manual way of basically doing it. Another way is I've shared the zip release directly with you, just in case you guys who are on the other operating system find that it is not automatically getting set up. After you have installed Python, set this up, this kit up, okay? And after you have followed for this also, you have to follow the same procedure. Extract it. After extracting, just double click and try to set the kit up onto those systems as well. And then when you face an issue, let me know, please. So we'll discuss further. So I think these are the two ways. Sorry. Yeah. So these are the two ways which you can use to set on a Windows or say on a other operating system of sorts. Okay. In case you have more questions first, I'll answer them before I can go back to quickly discussing about the chatbot.
If you have any questions, you can also raise your hand so that we can just quickly handle them rather than you typing a long,
Right.
Query.
Correct.
So we can take it on a queue.
Yeah.
If you want to raise your hand.
So Pooja, just Smita here, a question. Let's say somebody is just stuck and they are not able to install it, right? So how do they follow what you're going to tell now?
So if they're stuck, they just have to post the error, and a particular individual dependency may be a reason onto their systems. So the admin control that you have said, for that, we are still working.
That's a different thing. That's fine.
Yeah, we are still working to get that fixed.
So, yeah, that's fine. I mean, if there is anything, has anyone installed it so far? Aman, can you? So you have to. We can't repeat everything.
Yeah, it's too much, like 20 minutes already. So it will be difficult.
No, just put that, Sunday, if you could put those links once more, that will be good. But anybody else who has installed?
There is a 10-minute refresher also, just to give you the same instructions. And that is also on the community. And even if you have doubt, so let me
Okay, Jagdish is installed.
Okay,
that's
great.
Good. Anybody else done with all?
Anup is
good.
also done. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a little simpler process of sorts. Just a little unzip, double clicking the batch file, and then it should set up for most of your systems. Others, in case you are finding difficult, you can post the question here. If not here, we also wait for your questions on the community platform that we just introduced. So many others. Okay, awesome. Gopi has also, and Sri Latha also says. Awesome, I think we can continue. Setup.py install for sentence transformer since package. Okay, this is an error that you're getting, Jagdish? wheel is not installed. Okay. Okay. So these we have to manually install for you. Sometimes what happens, system to system, one or the other dependency may not get set up. Okay. So for that, we have to go to the command prompt and try to, you will have to share your screen and I'll have to guide you and we'll have to set it up individually sometimes. So that will remove the entire others from getting it. Has anyone else got the same error?
So Shubham is saying something, Pooja, that will be a common, you were talking about that batch file thing.
Yes. So due to this file, the reason is it's a simple text file. Why we have not implied any encryption? Because that would have delayed the process. Our team is already discussing on the delay that will incur because we encrypt it and then you decrypt it. Already it is taking your 7 to 8 minutes or 10 minutes of bandwidth to get it set up onto your systems. So we're thinking on this process. That's why I asked Shubham, you can scan it from an antivirus and only when you're satisfied, then you can go ahead and say more info, run anyway. Not just because we are saying it, you're free to scan it and only then use it onto your systems.
So
Ratna-
let's say somebody needs more help, Pooja. So
Okay.
you could just tell them how to get more help.
This error, Shrikant, are you plugged in? Because Windows has a, your Windows, when you're setting it up, what it will do in case, okay, remote file is being processed. So it wants you to be plugged into charging. Check out if your currently your system is not into charging and has a little lower battery of sorts, say 20 or 30%. That's why it's giving you that error code. Okay. Check it and let me know, Shrikant, if that error gets resolved. List of libraries required. So who gets error will install individually. Yeah, good suggestion, Gopi. That's what I am saying, that
Only
list-
Ratna ji, I want to know why you would like to share your screen. Are you done? That's why you want to share your screen, or is there some issue that you want to share your screen for? If you can, type it, because we would also like to pace it up since we have just done 30 minutes. When will people design something? So I'm just wondering.
but it is good that people are trying and
Yeah. So a lot of these people have already done Python. So I'm hoping they already have Python installed. It's just that some of them may not be able, some version. I
some
don't know.
version, some
Yeah.
version issues are sometimes there. For that, I've given the manual link for the setup. If you want, we can simply do this.
So Ratna ji has already done it, by the way. She just want to verify with. So I think she must have done it.
Okay, so guys, one quick thing that I'll show you what the Jupyter notebook should open for you. If that has opened for you, then yeah, the Git is working fine. Link for what, Aman? Sandhya, please.
That initial link that Sandhya had said, the same link I think he wants.
Yes.
Maybe I can.
And Syed is saying I'm getting the following error. The script, this is installed. Okay, you have actually your path is not so this is a path error. You already have Python installed and it wants, it's trying to add, consider adding this directory to path. So just copy this C Python scripts and add it onto your path. If you don't know, I'll help you out with that as well. You just have to get into the properties.
We also have solution here. Syed, while installing Python, click adding to path option.
Yes. So I would request that as you are developer, people would do little bit of tinkering on your end. And if still the issue is not resolved, even post the session, I mean, obviously the kit should be actually installed for you guys, but even post the session, I'll be there to guide you individually on the community. So let me check if there are more questions. So many warnings are, warnings is okay, Ratna. Don't worry about those warnings. Those are wheel warnings or certain dependency warnings. Warnings, you're a developer yourself, you understand there are warnings. Anything else? Can we continue, guys? So that we.
So she's not a developer, she's a teacher.
Okay,
and we have a wonderful blend of audience.
Oh, that's great, actually. Yeah. So mostly when we do a lot of development, this so I've been a teacher myself earlier, and only when I got into this too much of dependencies and things, that was my first question, actually. There's a genuine question, Ratna, from your end. Okay, so simply for installing Jupyter, this error, Shubhankar, what you got to do, let me just guide you. That will help others also. Open a fresh command prompt. Go to, okay, and it will be better if you share your screen and I'll guide you directly onto your system, onto your local system quickly. Yeah, does he has access to share the screen?
No, Anjana has to keep that.
I used to do
So
it.
Pooja, I think if there are, at least can we have some show of hands? How many of you were able to actually install?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just see. Otherwise, you see, as I said, it is a community. So they will help you
Right.
with rest of the things as
Step
it
by
goes. So
step.
just stay with it. And then,
I'll
yes,
paste-
Smita,
In
you want
fact,
to
the
add?
community
Yeah.
page itself has a reply. You can just hit on reply, and if you need help, just let us know. Anytime between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m., we can even do like a Teams call with you and help you build something. So that is a complete possibility.
And we'll want at least some people to be able to do it so that, we have our own set
Validation.
of people. Yeah, validation of doing this thing. So, yeah.
Okay. So I've just put the instruction also, Shubhankar. Pip install Jupyter, just try that. And one more thing, everyone. So you're asking for the list of dependencies. Let me help you quickly with that. So a good thing is we're talking about what is required. This is the requirement file, guys. Just go here. Okay. I hope my screen is visible. You see that this is a simple Jupyter version. We have listed out the required dependencies here. Go into a fresh command prompt. You know the command is pip. If you don't know, it's no worries. Pip install. Check out whatever dependency is creating that issue. Yeah, whatever dependency is creating that issue, just copy that exact version, paste it here, and then it would actually get set up there and then, and would actually not give you the issue that is currently Shubhankar or others are facing. So the list is provided where it's provided on the requirements file, which is also present into the folder. Just in case you're not even able to go here, then also I have suggested that everything is available directly on this GitHub page as well. Sorry. Yeah, directly on this GitHub page as well under your virtual agent. So it has the requirements.txt file, which I just showcased to you. But yeah, let's simplify it and hopefully we'll be able to get maximum of you to set up the kit properly. So going ahead. So I'll just skip all of this. This is for general, sorry. Okay, my mouse reacting a little weird. Yeah. We'll just skip this introduction. You know that, artificial intelligence has machine learning and deep learning. We wanted to discuss the fields. Today, we'll talk about your natural language processing, okay, NLP. And we are willing to build a chatbot. And you know that what chatbot can do for you. It can answer your queries 24/7, minimize all that error and simplify things for you. Basically, like currently, I'm going to answer for you. If we can design a bot who can actually take the general queries that you people have, right? How do we plan on a model? You know that we need a data for it. So primarily data is of essence here. We will use a pre-trained model, the BERT sentence transformers BERT model, and the input data is of concern. What we are using as input, accordingly our model is going to get built, and then based on that, when we feed a similar or a new kind of a data, accordingly we'll get an output, right? So coming to the important aspect, this is where you need to understand how do we start training the model? How do we start building up the model? You start from the knowledge base. You need either today we will talk about a bot which on the website can answer some frequently asked questions for you. So you need to create an article of sorts or some document or an Excel or a CSV file of sorts that can, be used to feed your model, train your model, or you can use a collection of documents. In fact, you can use conversations into textual or non-textual form as well. So it depends what sort of knowledge base you want to use to train your model. How do you train? So these are the steps we'll follow when we'll start on the Jupyter Notebook. The step 1 is get the data set, get the data source. Step 2 is analyze that data, how you can work on that data. So you need to figure out, you need to drop some columns, you need to duplicate, there are duplicate columns, you need to remove the duplicate columns. You want to say clean up any unusual content, right? So that cleaning up that you do for your data after you have analyzed, dropped some unessential columns, removed the duplicates, removed the null values if there are any into the data set. After you have done all that, we again pass that data through a pre-processing pipeline. So this pre-processing pipeline is your NLP pipeline, your natural language processing pipeline. We know that we talk in English, right? There is a grammar that is associated. If I just speak anything in English, you won't be able to understand. Similarly, for our machine, we will remove any unnecessary text. Let's say the symbols, question marks. So there are some stop words like this, is, and, the, which we use as, prepositions in our language. The machine doesn't require these. It just needs the keywords. And according to those keywords, essential keywords, it will convert those keywords into a mathematical understandable form that the machine can understand. So those we call embeddings. Okay, those we call embeddings, which we are using a sentence transformer to convert. So the sentence transformer is primarily responsible for converting it from human form to a machine understandable form. Okay, the input form into a embeddings form. And then with this, we finish the training. We store these embeddings into a storage file. Okay, so that later I can fetch it when I want to, check how my model is working and all that. So couple of steps to follow here. First, gather your data source, what data you want to use. Second, analyze it. Check it if you want to remove something. If it doesn't have any garbage, good enough. If it has garbage, you have to clean it up of all the mess, drop columns, to remove duplicates, etc.
Yeah, Pooja, so that's the only stage we have learned. I think this group is familiar till there. So that's the reason we thought this will be a great thing. Yeah.
More basics of session. So we have
no. I'm saying I'm just connecting it to the people, saying that step we have learned how to do that.
Understand
in this particular course. Yeah.
Understand. That's great. I guess in that case, at least the data analysis part. So we do have one more use case on the movie recommendation system where primarily we focus on merging, dropping, duplicating, primarily on the data analysis aspect. But yeah, today we move a little more forward than that. I mean, a complete use case of sorts. So I hope you are able to follow up that how we apply the NLP pipeline. So this NLP pipeline that I'm talking about, we'll check it out directly on the Jupyter Notebook. Complete step 1, data collection. Step 2, data analysis. The step 3 is very critical and important. After you have analyzed what your data, now you want to understand within that data what I want to remove. Either it's digits, symbols, any stop words. Also, the good part is, since Python has a great support for amazing libraries, everything is being built up, and kept for you. So even in Vietnamese and languages that you may not even think of, a set of stop words are already decided and kept. So you don't have to, do your own thing. You don't have to gather those, train your model. You just have to call that particular library. Similarly, English is obviously very popular. So there are a set of stop words. We'll call that particular library and use it in this pre-processing step. Further is your embeddings calculation. So why do we do this embeddings calculation? We want to make the machine understand that we want it to identify, for say a simple word like artificial intelligence is the key technology. So technology and artificial intelligence, it should be able to mathematically put it into a form, mathematical form, embeddings form, that your machine can separate. And that will be a unique combination of zeros and ones, embeddings form that your machine will use to uniquely identify. So coming to the testing part, we have your embeddings stored into a file. You will fetch them. You have fetched these embeddings, and you know that the user is now trying to check the model that is being built. What sort of a model we have built? We want that based on a data set, my my virtual agent, my bot, or my machine learning model is responding to my queries. There is a question, right? And there is an answer I want to get based on that question. So say a user query is, tell me about candy, suppose, or tell me the different types of supervised learning. Let's say that is the question. And I have already created my model, my trained model. So through this pre-processing pipeline, even in the user query, I will clean anything that is unnecessary. After this pre-processing and cleaning that I have done, again, I will do what? Compute the mathematical form. And then the same set of embeddings will be fetched from here, and we will use a similarity engine to do a comparison. And that way, mathematically, by matching, it will try to fetch that, okay, this is the exact match to the user query. And after that lookup, it will try to answer your user's question. Okay. So let me get to the model. Don't just worry that things may look a little not very exactly understanding, but once we are on the Jupyter notebook, it will be a little bit more clear. So quickly walking through the open source thing that we are using open source everywhere. So you're free to redistribute, modify, use ours, change it, distribute it again. Why open source? The community and everything. You can build on it. You can discuss with us. You can join us for that cohort session. Tell us your issues. Maybe tell us something more that we may not know that you have added to this kit later, for those of you who have already understood how to work around this use case. But even after all that, I just want to give you this very important information that whenever you work with open source, you need to take care of support, security, quality, and license agreement. Support as in, like, I am here to answer, but if you are looking for libraries, whether there is a team of people who is able to answer your queries, right? So what sort of a support a particular library has, that will help you choose that library for your use case development. So all this is already available. If you see on the kit page that you are working, these Jupyter notebook, transformers, linguistics, these will be the different libraries we will use today. So they should have a good support, a decent security. Without a decent security, nobody would like to use a certain library, even if it is free of cost, open source, because my application would get compromised, right? So again, security is the second feature that we already provide for a certain library on Candy. You can check before you actually implement it. Then there is quality and license agreement. So usually we say skip, we say I agree and just let the license agreement go. But when you are working with someone else's use case, it is very important you take key consideration of whether it is a permissive or a non-permissive, or say a strong copyleft sort of a license. Just check out this license also when you're using some open source repository or tool. So let's now get into the Candy kit quickly. So this should be the screen that you should have received by now. Okay, I'll just say yes.
We're seeing your PPT.
Okay, sorry. Thank you so much. I'll share my entire screen again. So this should be the screen that you should be able to see now, and say yes to go ahead and run this kit. Okay. So you see that we have listed down the instructions also here that you can follow in case you're not aware how to work around the Jupyter notebook, right? Simple instructions and how you can navigate each and every cell. Let's first quickly come to the first. What is happening here? This is our CSV. This is the simple Excel file where I have put down some frequently asked questions. I want that for my website, the bot can answer the most asked questions. Okay. So we'll go into the folder where I have installed, no, not this. Yeah, this one. You see that this is the folder where we have installed our kit. You double click it, you will find this file. Go ahead, click it, and check this out. So you see that these are simple 6-7 questions. You can add more and more to it. And we have tried to detail on, some couple of questions here. You can put down your questions, say you want to create something on health, fitness, whatever category. Just put down your questions here, copy them, and accordingly, you will be able to also write answers and fetch it for this model. Okay. So I see there are a couple of questions on the chat. I'll just quickly see if there's something which is of, okay. So linguistic, please use pip install linguistics from that requirements file. Similarly, that I had told before. Okay, yeah, okay. Nothing from the kit yet. So, okay, this is the file that you are going to access, or this is the data set, simple data set, 5-6 questions, any one of you can create. And then we are calling it here, okay? So faqs.csv, we are accessing it into a variable, which is data source underscore path. Then this is my model location. Why I am giving, I said we are storing our, entire trained model into a path. So this is my model. I'm also saving it into a variable called model underscore path. So later I can load it if I require. This is from where everything starts. First step is importing your essential libraries. So for data analysis, the popular libraries, since you've already worked on it, guys, it is NumPy and Pandas. Okay. So numerical Python and Pandas we use for your data frame, etc. Next are your linguistics. So these are the libraries we are using for pre-processing. So what sort of a preview? I want to remove some less than symbol, some punctuations, and the stop words. So for stop words, I have simply also imported that I want to remove English language stop words. So accordingly, I've imported the en underscore stop words library. And then there is another text hero dot pre-processing, which helps me remove the digits if there are any. So people can type anything, right? Some symbols, some punctuations. So I just don't want all of that to make it difficult for my model to make a comparison with the question and give me the correct answer. So we'll import these libraries. Then it is your sentence transformer. So this is the state of art, library that is used to, I would say, the pre-trained model that we are using to compute the mathematical form of your English language, or let's say the natural language that we speak as humans. For that, we are using this sentence transformer. Next is this library, which we are importing from tosh.nn, which is your cosine similarity. So cosine similarity is used to calculate the similarity between the user query and the queries we have trained our model on. So suppose I have trained my model on what is candy, but the user can ask, hey, do you know what this candy is all about? They won't ask the same question exactly, right? So this query, what is candy, and hey, can you tell me about candy, is pretty much a similar question. And the mathematical form may vary a bit. But accordingly, for the same question, it's the same question, the answer should be provided by my model. So cosine similarity tries to calculate the closeness. Okay. So for that, we have imported it. Then pickle to save the model. Simple. This is more important. So from here, what we have done, we have used your PD, the alias for pandas, use the function read underscore CSV. And since we have loaded our data set here in the variable data underscore source underscore path, that's getting loaded. We've ignored the simple encoding errors here. Next step is to set the option. We want to showcase our entire data set here, those 6 rows, right? Wherein you can see there is a question Q and an answer A column. Okay. I've just simply loaded it here in the Jupyter notebook, nothing else. And I can see the indexes are automatically assigned here, what is candy, and etc. etc. Right? These are a couple of questions. Now I want the next step is, this is a data frame, right? I now, for my particular data frames column called Q, I want to remove the digits. I want to remove the punctuations. After I have removed these digits, punctuations, etc., I want to store it into a new column. And what am I calling that column? I'm calling that column as processed Q column, if you can see. So I see that there's not much error, since it's my human already written question, but I've still removed this symbol, question mark, because my model won't require it. This is for us humans to understand. So this processed Q column will just have, no digits, nothing of a symbol of sorts. The important context is listed here, right? After that, what we do from this sentence transformer, I want to use, so there are, if you click on this link, there are many pre-trained models. You can compare, you can check, discuss, whatever. We have just chosen one of the models, which is Paraphrase Mini LM L6 version V2. So this is having its own way to compute your embeddings, right? Basically the mathematical form, okay? And that we are storing in the variable called model here, right? After we are loading this in this step, we are basically loading this model version here into the variable model. And after that, we are applying it on this step here. So we've called model, use the encode onto our particular column that we had cleaned. Okay. What was the first step? Data set. We got the data set. Second step, the data analysis. Since it's completely, we saw by enlarging our columns, we saw that we simply want to clean any question mark or symbols or digits if there are possible. After that cleaning, I got another column, which is my processed queue. And on this processed queue, I did the encoding. After loading my, paraphrase mini LM, I just encoded it. What this will do, this will compute the mathematical form, simple mathematical form, and then I will store it. With this, my training is complete. Now, next step is we want to load this model. Obviously, we have created it so that we can use it for comparison later during our testing phase. So what I will do in the testing, I've used this pickle.load to load it from that same file wherein I was using to store it into the simple file using pickle.dump. Okay, the dump is the function, the load is function here from the pickle library. Now what I have done, there is a simple user query. I want to do the testing. Tell me about Candy. Okay, simple user testing. Tell me about Candy. And this is this user query gets into this method here called pred answer, pred underscore answer. And what we are doing here, after this external user query has come, we are doing the same process that we had done in training. We will first convert it to be able to pass it through that similar pipeline. We will convert it into a data frame format, okay? And on that data frame, I want to now remove the digits and remove the punctuations. Same step. Remove your digits, remove the punctuations, because all of that is unnecessary for our model. And then save it into another column or say another index called clean user query. Okay. After you've done that, what was the next step? You use your model.encode to compute the mathematical form of this query that is being asked and store it into user queue embeddings. Whatever variable name you are comfortable with, you can take that. And then I have loaded my cosine similarity. So this is the essential step in testing. Okay, this is the different step. Here, this cosine similarity we have loaded. Why? So numerical Python's alias np numpy dot argmax. Yeah. So basically what I want to do with this mathematical function is I now want to compute from the user query, which was tell me about Candy. This is just the mathematical embedding form. Okay. And this q underscore embeds was all my embeddings for those 5-6 questions. All my embeddings was in this mathematical form stored here. Now I want to compare. I want to compute which one is the most similar. So to this user query from the stored ones, and then fetch the index accordingly, right? Questions index. And then when I get that index, I want
just
to
1 second, Pooja. Just
Yeah.
want to tell that all this is written already, right? You're just explaining what is there in the source code.
Yes. I'm just
Yeah,
trying
right?
to get into the detail as much as
Yeah.
possible. Yes, Shmita.
Yeah. So, I mean, for people on the call, these are the next set of progressions
Steps.
that you
Yes.
can progress. See, right now, you will be, the reason why we picked it up is you know how to validate data. So if you
Right, right.
create your own facts.csv, you will be able to get to the step. Rest
Correct,
of all
correct,
will
correct.
work.
Yes.
Absolutely the same,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes. So yeah, just a quick run through. I just wanted to tell you what's happening in the testing. So yes, everything
no,
you
it's
don't have to change
becoming,
anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
really scary. So I thought
Scary. Oh, I'm so
I
sorry.
was
Sorry,
Yeah.
if that's the case.
No, I'm just voicing probably some of what the
No.
participants are feeling.
I think I hope it wasn't scary. I just made it a little more detailed sometimes, but yeah, okay. I understood. So basically, we are just fetching the answer accordingly. Let's try to experiment what we have developed. Let's check something like hello. Let's use some exclamation marks, some digits here. Let's try to make it more gribbish. uh, how to work with candy. Let's see, something like that. So it is saying it provides you some two features, right? Some answer from here. This is our answer column, right? So it's giving me some two features that it has listed down. How to work around with candy. So how to use candy is what it is giving us as answer. Now, suppose you want to create your own data set. I mean, you want to work on your own bot with your own data set. So how do you simplify it? Just copy paste your questions here, right? And the answers accordingly here. So I do have another created data set, which has
It's very quiet on the chat, so I hope people are clear on what is happening.
yeah. Okay, let's have more questions first if you guys like. So this is another set of questions that we have created. We can go for some questions. Okay, so they're asking for recording. What sort of data types are allowed as input? So Srilata, all CSV, JSON, TXT. So it depends on you what data set you want to format is not an issue, right? You know that with the data analysis, you can go for a certain type. That won't be an issue. We'll send you an email. Okay. Can we add similar questions to the, yeah, Gopi, that's what I'm saying. You can add similar or any sorts of questions there itself and simply put the answers as well. So I'll showcase you how you can do that. Let me just copy this and show you. This is the FAQs. I just pasted these. I'll have to save it and go back. And I even close it as well for ease. This is okay. We'll restart and run. Okay. So you see, simple process. What is deep learning? All those answers. Let's see. So not candy, but let's ask. This is a testing thing. Let's ask something on. Tell me something about deep learning. Question mark. Digits. So yeah, let's see what it is answering. Is it giving us the same answer? Yeah, it is able to give us the same answer. Let's try
Control F. Pooja, use Control F. Now let's see. So let people relate how much of the text is matching.
Okay, sure.
Pooja, could you maybe there are a couple of questions saying that comments saying that it's a little fast and they're not able to comprehend.
Oh, sorry.
Also test. So maybe you can walk through this a little more slowly with just very simply, very basic.
Okay.
Take one question and walk through it maybe.
Sure. I'll do that again. So what you got to do is simply put your questions here. Let me just.
So I'll take the questions from here, Pooja, for you.
Okay.
Can we add similar question to the questions which are there, which we have same answers? Will we have the same answers? So I think you have also trained the set for answers, right? You already have so you need to also have answers if you have new questions.
Yes, obviously. So, because it is, we have trained it for the questions.
Correct.
Not for the answers. We, according to the questions index, it is giving you the answers.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically it is matching to the text in the question and then searching by the key and then seeing whatever similar it finds and giving you that answer.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
it is learning. Anjana.
Yeah,
It is learning.
Yeah.
Indexing is. Yeah. So basically what it is doing, if you go for, let's say I duplicate. So I showed, let's put just one question. Okay. Say just one question here.
So let the audience ask the question,
Yes,
because
yes.
then they will be able to understand the process. So does anybody want to ask a question
Sure.
who's kind of there in the set and, so does anyone want to ask a question? If you can raise your hand, I can just quickly allow you to talk.
And apologies, I just didn't recognize. I went too fast. Sorry.
No, it's not. It's also, I think, because, in an unfamiliar territory, you always feel things are like, too way out of reach.
Right.
So, So anyone, what okay, what will the answer to do you like deep learning?
Yeah, let's try and check what it
And
says.
that is you, Smita.
I'm just giving a cue so that people can start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's take that question.
Yeah,
from
we'll take
chat.
this question first. And if anyone has, because I see a lot of people putting it on chat, we are a very small batch, so we can allow you to talk and understand as we move forward. So it's okay.
Right. Go ahead and please ask your
So-
personalized questions. Okay. How
Okay.
Python is analyzing those sentence and embeddings.
Correct. They want
Okay.
to know it, that how is the analysis being done?
Sure. So, Shubham, there is a pre-trained model. Let's go and check this. What we are doing is, there are two things. One thing is you start from scratch for your model, but we know that for NLP, you will need models like these, wherein these models are already trained on a lot of data. Okay. And when when a particular mathematical form of that you get, same for English language, you will be able to fetch the answer accordingly. So this is, if you get into a particular model type also, they will tell you the description. All around model tuned for many use cases and what amount of data set. So over 1 billion training pairs. So for FAQs, we have chosen mini LM version. So for let's say, try another one. Diverse set of question answer pairs. This is another one which has been tuned for semantic search. Okay, given a query question, if you can find relevant passages, it was trained on a large and diverse, because for us, if we train on just 5-6, it will recognize it, since it has already been trained before on such documents. Hence, it is able to give you the expected answer at the right time, not by just these 5-6 questions that we have put in the text, put in the Excel. So pre-trained model tested on billions of, trained on billions of, we are loading it into our own Jupyter notebook. So we're taking help from a pre-trained model here, so that we get a decent performance out of it.
Okay, so Pooja, there is one question which I think will simplify this entire thing. Can you do all these steps one by one with simple data? Right. Okay. So that's the question. I think all you have to do is install, then you will see this source code, then you do that. I mean, you ask a question, it will answer. Right. Yeah, Pooja, maybe you should just tell that. Sure. And see, what you can do is think of this as, this is a candidate installation chatbot. So there are some 6 questions. So the way you test it is by asking sentences which are similar to this.
Right.
Okay. And it will give you answer. That is how you test it. So at this stage, what we are expecting you is, if you can run this installation and ask simple questions, are you getting the right results? If you get that, next, change your CSV. When you change the CSV, if you get into trouble, you can use all your validations from our acquiring data course. That is all what we are expecting. Pooja, I don't know if I'm
you
understanding it right.
Perfectly right. Perfectly right. Yes. She actually, thank you, Shmita, for making it so simplified. So you don't I got into the details just to make you more comfortable, since you are doing this data analysis course. But what you have to do, you don't have to do anything. Get into this CSV. Get into the folder wherever you have installed. Sorry, let me close this. Just get into that folder where this kit is installed. You will find this FAQs, and then change your questions here simply.
Yeah, so Shrikant has asked, can we use multiple CSVs file at the same time? Can we?
At a time depends. Like if you are training your model for we have currently given you one CSV. Why we want to use multiple CSVs is also one of the questions you want to gather data from different CSVs. Can you little bit, detail me on the problem that you would like to tackle with this?
Also, someone has asked, Shubham, how can I put those Python framework in chatbot for our website?
Okay, so this is directly, if you want to put it, you just have to do what? Currently, you're seeing it is on the Jupyter notebook. To integrate it with your platform, let me showcase you. The Candy Kit. Okay. Yeah. So if you see that some of you were asking about libraries, you need to have a little bit knowledge on Flask. So Flask will help you host it onto a website. Okay. To get it integrated with your website, see, this is a separate application. You can use simple JavaScript also and do some REST calls and integrate it to your website. This is the use case that we have provided to you already. Now, just
Shubham, that's a
yeah.
great question, because that's the missing piece in that whole course.
Mhm.
It just tells you how to write code and compile and get an answer. It just doesn't tell you how to deploy it. And that is what we're trying to get you to. Right? Here, we're just helping you. Just the data validation, there's no point in you deploying it anywhere. But with that, let's say for your website, if you're able to create a fact.csv, then this thing you can actually deploy it.
Yes.
I hope you got it, Shubham.
So, Pooja, I just wanted to know how much of it is left, since I think we started.
It's done.
It's done. So we can have that people answering that MCQ and take certificates, no?
Yes, absolutely. So let's walk through that process. Again, I think the link to that page, course page, has been shared with you. Go ahead and click on this take assessment button. It will take you to a Google form. You can say that you attended a boot camp, and then further answer these few questions that are present here. These are a set of some 5 questions that you have to answer. And then there is an interesting thing that we add, wherein whoever, like Shubham asked, so if you can integrate it to the website, great, using Flask. If not, a simple thing would be creating a simple CSV of your own. So rather than just a participation certificate where you have used the Candy kit, you can get an achievement certificate, an upgraded certificate, wherein you are showcasing that I tried to tinker with the kit a little bit on my own. So you can get an achievement certificate as well. And yeah.
Also, I think what we could do is the assessment link is on the same course page. That link, that the URL that we have said, course page, that has the assessment link on it, and you can just click on that. So I think what we could also do is we will get your details or share the Wednesday collab session details with Anjana and Smita, because we're putting together this collab, which is going to be a 45 to a maximum 60-minute session, but it will not have a bootcamp. It's going to be a Microsoft Teams meeting where everybody talks to each other. And we're going to start with the building itself. So it's specifically on this topic called Build with AI. And we will be taking up possibly 2 of this. One will be virtual agent, and the other one is we have a fake news detection engine that we build as well. So we could take up 1 or 2 of these. And if you already have a project that you're working on, or if you have something in mind, we can deep dive into how we can build it with you, because we'll have multiple mentors on that session. We can even do breakouts, take you to a separate call, but that 60 minutes is basically to see how you can build it. And this was more of the basic, getting you more familiar with the course and with the kit itself. So Anjana and Smita, maybe I can share those details with you. And if this cohort, if people would like to join that collaborative laboratory session on Wednesday, that will be great as well. I'll share the details with you.
Also, this assessment has very basic MCQ. If you all guys can attempt it, then you'll also get a certificate for being here and, attending this
Absolutely.
Session. So don't miss on that part, since all of you were here.
Yeah, the MCQ is the mandatory part to get a certificate. It's simple 5 questions. The achievement is something, if you'd like to do, you could do it, or you can attend the Wednesday session if you're looking at learning more, and then even attempt. We have another process of certification for that as well. But if that doesn't work for you, if you have questions, please do send it on the course page, hit on reply and send it across, and we will get back in touch with you and do a separate session with you if you'd like to build something. I think with that, we wrap up. The assessment link does not have an expiry date, but we will be sending out certificates once a week. If you complete the assessment between today and tomorrow, you should receive your certificates by sometime Wednesday next week.
So all the people who attended this session, we have specially got MCQ rather than the descriptive type of questions, because we thought it was best to have them answered. And you answer this and then you'll get a certificate.
Anjana just put the WhatsApp link also. Somebody is asking.
Sure, I'll just put the
WhatsApp
WhatsApp link.
Yeah. And I hope you folks understood what we were trying to do. If not, ask. Otherwise, Smita and Pooja, if you could come back to us with one more session to answer the questions.
Absolutely, yeah, we can do that.
Sure, we'll be more than happy.
Yeah.
And I think next session, what we could do, Smita, is we will give the link to the kit already. So before we start,
Yeah,
we
so I
install-
think we
Correct.
didn't realize it will take longer than an hour,
Yeah.
and we just blocked 1 hour of people. So I think, yeah, this is a learning curve for us.
So
and
we'll do a
lab
session where
mates.
we give the course link. People can already install the kit and keep it. And then we just do the run through the kit and answer questions during that session. Because that course page also has instructions for troubleshooting, for other OS and things of that sort. So let's do something of that sort next time. We have a cloud
Sure.
session coming up. We could also do another data session. But yeah, open to that. So thank
Great.
you very much.
So,
Smita, Anjana.
yes, so the folks on this call, what we would like you to do is complete this entire things. It's just 3 steps. Download the kit. If you have installation issues, use the community chat support, get that resolved. After that, it is about just running it and then change the fact, at least add questions or do it, and then train your model using different text combinations, right? I'm a little familiar to this because I used to run some support in my earlier organization and have trained chatbot. So I kind of understand that. So basically use different questions so that and test if your bot is able to get the right answer to you, right? Question which is little difficult, tricky. So that is what, if you can do that, and then you come to the next session, Pooja will teach you how to actually go to the next level, right? And if you're getting stuck at this stage itself, I
Absolutely.
think we can do a repeat of the same session.
For sure. And Shubham, you've asked for any suggestions to get more understanding on the course page. Click on that one-click install. You have a video. Watch that 10-minute video, which will tell you exactly what Pooja said right now. In fact, it's Pooja in the video also. So watch that 10-minute refresher video and then go to the kit install. And that page has deployment instructions, troubleshooting, everything else that you need. But over and above that, we will be happy to get in touch with you one-on-one or even do another session.
Sure. Yeah, even it is a learning for us as well. Sometimes, yeah, I mean, different people.
Yeah,
outlooks.
because these are people who don't come from that kind of developer background. So I think they will need a little more deep
No,
dive.
and yeah, it is a good learning for us that we will actually skip a lot of the detailing. We'll just go by the important part. More focus would be, and then a little bit more timing I think is required when we get through discussions on a mix of heterogeneous group of people.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you for, coming on this evening. A lot of, especially women, a lot of you must be, celebrating the festival. So thank you for being here. And we hope if we have to maybe plan another session with the same lot, we can do it. And maybe take a little more deeper understanding of the system, what we're doing.
Right. Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Smita. Thank you. And thanks,
Thank you
Pooja,
very
for your
much.
time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.